So now let's give it up for Petra Obaasima as she takes the podium.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I want to acknowledge everyone on the days. Amma, Sabina, HE, so Her Excellency. That's what I'm going to be calling you from now on. Baba and Amasewa. It's wonderful to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. Madam Sewa sort of gave a very, very good place for me to start. So I'm going to read something to you because she ended with a very important comment about knowing, not beating yourself down. When I read this, the first person who can tell me where I got it from will get a gift. Deal? So please listen. There is no one like me. I am irreplaceable. I am the trailblazer you all follow. And if the future holds misfortune, only I can warn you to keep back. Now you all think I am irreplaceable. Wherever the oracle is asked to avoid is where he makes his home. The dreaded sacrificial food offering is delicacy to the vulture. The kidney, liver, and entrails become delicious snacks. The skull of the elephant is too massive for the child to carry. No one, but no one can seize my crown. My successor will be determined by me and me only. Yesterday I was, today I am, and I remain the one to fear. The dreaded one. I am Eniola Salimi, universally acclaimed as the monarch, the king of... Oh. So who was the first person to say it? Do you want to vote? Now this scene is almost the last scene in The King of Boys Part 2. And I read it because when I was watching that movie, it actually gave me a lot of interesting emotions. It's one of the first times from the literary eye, observed a woman play such a very strong character. And not just because it was the lady who played it, but knowing how the Yoruba tradition and culture is, how she portrayed the character. When Amasewa was talking about not beating down yourself, that image came back to my mind. I just quickly went to look for the dialogue on my phone. Because very often than not, we don't know who we are. And we are not able to speak to it. I was so excited when you said, put humility aside. Because I know there are people here who are still thinking in their mind, oh, what does she mean? We are Ghanaians, oh. We can't put humility aside. Humility is who we are. We are very humble. Am I lying? Some of you are still thinking, hey, this woman who came from Guinness, they said we should put humility aside. And the reason is that you can't achieve beyond what your mind tells you can achieve. So I want to start you off in talking about networking and leadership. Start from yourself. You have to believe that you're somebody of worth. When I was reading that dialogue, a monologue actually, I'm sure you were wondering, how can somebody be so bold? Every time I reflect on that scene, I ask myself, how did Eniola look at herself and begin to speak like that? She said she's the oracle. I am who I am. And there are people here who will be thinking, but it's only God who can say that. Not me, oh, not me from where I am. But you are valuable. You have to believe that if you're going to be able to achieve anything of greatness. So I'll segue from where she left off and say that in developing or building a network, the first point is believing that you are valuable. Some of you interact with people and you always come from a position of weakness. You're always talking about, oh, in my family, we are nobody, I know that I'm from a village. Then you are not supposed, nobody would want to interact with you. Or even if they do, they're going to be interacting with you and you'll be from a position of weakness. So yes, please think about your humble beginnings. Think about where you're from, but don't let that be the limitation to where you want to get to. So the first thing I'm going to say to you about networking is, first of all, start with yourself and believe in your value. This is not about having an exaggerated opinion of yourself. This is about having a healthy self-image. I've met so many young women, beautiful young women, who don't believe that there's anything good about themselves. Sometimes nobody told you at home, but that's why we have programs like this, so that we can remind you that you are valuable. As a human being, inherent in your being on this earth, you are valuable. And then you start to build on that value and make yourself even more valuable. So the first point is you need to have a healthy sense of self-esteem. And then I'll run you very quickly through some of the things I think are important for you to know when you're networking. So the second thing would be that in networking, you have to be open to meeting new people. In this sense of I'm humble, also comes a very heavy dose of timidity. I don't know how to talk to people, though. I'm afraid. And when I talk to people, maybe I'll get into trouble. So we don't meet anyone. We don't know anyone. Nobody knows us. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, but I'm young, I'm a student, who can know me? There are people in this room that if they raise up their hand or they get up, a lot of us know them, isn't it? And when we're in school, when we're in senior high school, there was something that one of my teachers used to say. He used to say, don't just pass through the school, let the school pass through you. If you've missed the opportunity of doing that in high school, you're in university now. This is another opportunity. And I don't believe in opportunity comes but once, honestly. I always believe that if you do the right things, you can create a new opportunity. So yes, you missed it. This is another opportunity. When you enter the lecture room, when you get into your hall, when you're in a room with people, don't be the one who is in the corner of the room not interacting. When Sabina, my grandma's name was Sabina, so I'm struggling. When she said show up, I wrote everything of the show up. Because that's, for me, today, that's my takeaway. You have to show up in this world to be great. And please don't buy into the logic that says that, oh, not everybody can be great in this world. Why is it you that has to be the small fish? I had a relative who used to say that, and so if everybody's child goes to university, who will work on the farm? And I asked her one time, I said, but why does she have to think like that? If we can go to university and come back and do the farm well. So that was her philosophy, why she didn't think it was necessary for any of her children to go to university. So meet new people, be open to new relationships. Consider your existing relationships as well. In life, we would always have people that we already know. Some of our relationships are transitional relationships, some are permanent relationships. Your permanent relationships are the relationships you have with your family, with your siblings. We don't choose them. Even if you have an auntie that is very toxic, every time she sees you, she says, hey, so you two, you don't have a boyfriend. All this while, level 400, intern, you don't have a boyfriend. When will you marry? Hey! She's a permanent person in your life. It is your responsibility to figure out how to navigate that space. But you cannot decide that she's no more my auntie. Even though in the movies, you hear things like, they've disowned my family. You can disown them, but they're still your family, isn't it? And we all have that one family member who will do something that will be like, eee. So there are existing relationships, transitional relationships, and permanent relationships. You need to know which is which. Don't let somebody who is in transition in your life create chaos that is permanent, which is what a lot of the young women do. And I can't come to a university and go without saying this, that please, your mommy and your daddy didn't send you to school to come and pretend to be somebody's wife. And I know that there will be boys here or young men here who will say that, no. Should I say it again? I said your father and your mother did not bring you to university to come and pretend to be somebody's wife. Pretend though, because I know, I did 4 years in the University of Ghana. I know how some people come to school and they want to be wife material 12 yards. Me, I sell cloth. So I think in yards. I sell 80 clothes. That's my full-time job. So you want to be wife material 12 years, sometimes 24 years, so that you can fry into round and round and be dragging it on the floor. And the young men are thinking about how they can finish school, get good jobs, and you are just thinking about how to please this young man. You go to study with him, you are putting the music in your ear, one earbud is in his ear, the other one is in your ear. You are not learning anything. The information is not going into your head. And when you finish all that lovey-lovey in there, wherever you go, he goes back to his room to study. He's looking at how to get scholarships abroad. He's looking at how to do his GRE. You've not thought about it. You get an opportunity and you say, hey, what do my boyfriend think? Hey, if I leave him in Ghana, by the time I come, somebody has snatched him. Oh. You are saying, some of you are here thinking like that. So think about the relationships you have. Some are transitional. Looks like I'm speaking to only the people here. Some are transitional and some are permanent. And don't let transitional relationships destroy what can be permanent in your life. So yes, you want to build a network, but think about what and who you're building that network with. So I've spoken about N, which is new, E for existing, the T is trust. If you're going to build a thriving, effective network, you have to be someone who can be trustworthy. And a trustworthy person is someone we can rely on. Don't be the one who says, I'll be there at 12. And I recently saw a joke that said, when a Ghanaian says, I'm on my way, they're jumping into the bathroom. They are now jumping into the bathroom. They've not done anything. Don't be that group member. Don't be that friend. When you say one, let it be one. And don't attend a meeting and when you show up late, you say, Ghana time. It's not an excuse. And in your generation, even more than ever before, you are competing with people all over the world. So it's nice to say things like, oh, this is how we do it in Ghana, or it's acceptable in Ghana. Baba said something about excellence. And you think that, oh, it's okay. We are in an environment where when you ask somebody to do something straight and it's crooked, they say, oh, nobody will notice. Somebody will notice. So build trust. Let your word be your bond. Don't be someone who we don't, when we say, they say, hey, as for that man, when you say look, when he says look up, I beg you, look down. What's that dance? Don't be that person. The W is for work. Your network is work. It means you have to be engaged in it. You cannot be passive in building a network. You cannot just sit back and think that it will happen. I was chatting with a young man, I think he's from your region, this morning. Very, very intelligent young man. And he was telling me, Baba knows him as well, Michael. And he was telling me he finally met Baba and AC this week. He's been trying to meet them for 2 years, by the way. And I've been doing Andaji moves for him. He finally met them this week. He took a picture. He sent me the picture. And he was telling, I said, oh, but I thought you had met them already because he was trying to do internship and all that. And he's talking to me about what he wants to do for national service. And I asked him a very simple question. I said, do you know anybody in that organization? And he says, yes, Petra, I do. I know this person in my region, Upper East. I also know this person in Accra. And I said, okay. And he mentioned names. Then I asked, have you spoken to this particular person? He said, not yet. I'm not sure how to craft the message. I said, Michael, craft the message, send it to me. I'll help you look at it. And then we can move from there. And I know this person as well. So once you send your message to her, I'll send her a message on the side, and I would put in a word as well. And he says, thank you, Petra. And I said to him, you're working so actively on your network. I'm so proud of you. He's in level 400 in school. He already knows the head of corporate communications in a very major company in Ghana. He knows the 2 managing partners of one of the most successful PR companies in Ghana. And he hasn't even started working yet. So it's not just about talking about it or coming to programs and taking pictures. So the pictures that he took at the event, that's not the end. He has to work on the relationship. He has to work on it. Her Excellency said something about helping. One of the values that we need to inculcate in ourselves as young people is the spirit of volunteerism. If you want to build a network and you're asking yourself, what can I give? You can volunteer your time. You can volunteer your skills. That is one of the ways to grow a network. Don't be a passive member of the group. If you're in a class and they want somebody to collect names or print handouts, volunteer. My class rep when I was in university is a pastor now. And every time he's in Kumasi, but he comes to Accra once a year to do a program. Every time he comes to Accra to do a program, he's able to get so many of the people who did the course with him in university to attend that program. And a lot of the people in that class are very successful young people in Ghana. He was just our class rep, stressing our lives. Buy a handout or write your name, all that. We never imagined that he will be who he is now, and he didn't think we will be who we are now. There are politicians from my class. The current CEO of Kotoko was 1 year, I think either my course mate or 1 year behind us, but he comes for that event. He's able to get all of us to endorse his program, do short videos, all of this, effortlessly. But you need to work on it. And one of the things that he in particular does is anytime he comes to Accra, he will call everybody. He's not come to do anything. He's just telling you that, hey, I'm in Accra. I wanted to say hello to you. So you work towards building your network. The O in network is originality. Everybody has something that is unique about them. All of us has something that we can bring to the table. Baba spoke about what is your brand. There's something about you that nobody else should be able to compete with. There's something about you that is originally you. And that thing, you need to be very conscious about it and bring it forth. Show up. I can't stop talking about this show up concept. Let it show forth. Don't hide it. Stop thinking about how you don't know 100% of what you're supposed to know. There's something about you that you can show up with. The R is relationships. Think about networking as building relationships. And relationships, not just what you can get, but what you can also give. To build a network, and to build a network that will be thriving and effective and useful to you, and you being useful to other people, you have to be genuinely concerned about the people in your network. Don't be the one who is always asking for things. You never do anything for anyone. And then when they don't give you, you say, you people, you're all haters. You're all haters. And it's my birthday, and nobody gave me a gift. And then you start posting the pictures of the people who gave you gifts to shade the ones who didn't give you. Screenshots of the messages. Hey, now birthdays are a serious matter. Oh, I think we were totally off the game. Build relationship. On Valentine's Day this year, I posted on Facebook, I said, this is your kind of love that only you give me. You're always collecting. This year, you to give. You won't vanish. You won't die. Please, is that the marriage material guy? Another guy? Okay. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with being the rich wife who buys the nice gifts. There's nothing wrong with being the rich wife who buys the nice gifts, or the rich girlfriend, or the rich friend. And wealth is not only about having money, it's also the state of your heart. If you can't give out of your 100 cedis you have now, when you have 1 million, you will not be able to give. It's generosity, and for the men too. So the women too, when you're looking, generosity is not about how much money he has. If he's stingy, he's stingy. He'll be stingy even when he's a millionaire. But he's not your father. So you don't expect that he will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. So be genuinely involved in your relationships with people. Give. Be open to receive, but don't be a parasite. In biology, we learned something about symbiotic relationships, commensalism, mutualism, and parasitism. You can be a parasite because you're always receiving. Give me, give me, give me. Every day, give me, give me, give me. You will never give anybody anything. And when they don't give you, then you start complaining. And you have a lot. And me, you know, my home, we don't have. And everybody has something they can give. Yours might not be money. It might be your time. It might be your skill set. It might be something, but you have something that you can give. And that is how you build relationships. The K is knowledgeable. If you want to have a thriving network, if you want to be able to meet new people on the first day and talk to them and talk sense, content, you cannot, it's nice to be beautiful. Of course now, if I tell you it's not nice to be beautiful, I can't sell my clothes. You have to look good, buy new clothes, smell good, do your hair, wear makeup, but there has to be more to you than all of those aesthetics. Let the substance of your being show forth when you meet people. And that will only come when you invest in your brain. And it's not only about coming to school. You can be in school, studying, and you still not be knowledgeable because you don't know how to apply that information. So you need to read beyond just your lecture notes. Engage in discussions. Go for discussion meetings, group meetings. Some of you are so afraid that when you go, you open your mouth and you say rubbish, so you will not go. You even say things like, oh, me, when I go to the group discussions, they confuse me, oh. Is that about confusion? Or you're just afraid? Listen to other people's ideas. Be open-minded to engage. Talk. And read. I have to say this. If you're not reading, where are you getting your information from? And Facebook can pass for reading, but please read books. Read books that can give you fresh information. Read books that can take your mind to different places. For those of you who read novels and storybooks, you agree with me that sometimes you've never been to a place. You've never been to Paris. You've never been to London. You've never been to Russia. You've never been to... When I read Danielle Steele's book, Zoya, when I was a teenager, the story was about the Russian monarchy and how they were overthrown and how all of that. And it felt like I was in Russia, experiencing royalty in Russia. And some of that information now makes sense because of what is going on in 2022. So please read to build knowledge. Don't be an airhead. An airhead, beautiful, charming, opens their mouths, nonsense. Don't be that person. I'm going to quickly talk about leadership. Why is leadership important? There are 3 things I need us to remember. Leadership is not about a title. And it's a nice thing to have a title. It's beautiful to be called CEO. It's beautiful to be called Director General. It's beautiful to be called GM. It's beautiful to be called Head of Station. All of those titles. But leadership is more about influence than your title. Which means that if you say that you're a proper leader, there's an amount of impact that you need to have on people. So don't be so excited just about the big title. Think about what is my impact on the people. One of the issues about Africa's development, we keep saying is the leaders, the leaders are worrying us. And then when we say leaders, we also add the politicians. The politicians. But we hardly think about ourselves. So yes, leadership has a big role to play. Like Auntie Tangoba said, followership is important also. So leadership starts, and I always want to bring it back to self. Think about yourself as a leader also. Because we are just, the leadership at the top is a reflection of who we are in our smaller groups, isn't it? So think about leadership from your perspective, from you as an individual. What are your values? What is your attitude? This Ghana Time thing is a collection of all of us. All of us are a reflection of, or we are impacting how it is, how it works out, isn't it? So our attitudes. Leadership should not be predatory. The African concept of leadership comes with a lot of privilege. So when we say somebody is a leader, the first thing is privilege. They will be the ones to sit in front, isn't it? When it's parking space for people, the leader is the one who gets the best parking. Sometimes you even go to a company, the customers don't have anywhere to park, but there's parking space for the CEO. And the security man is telling you, go and park outside, far, and walk. You're telling him that, oh, but I just need to go. No, madam, this space is the CEO's parking. If I park you here, I'll be fired. But the customer is also important, isn't it? So let's turn that around a bit and think about leadership also as being service to the followers. Instead of us thinking of ourselves as leaders and we want all the privileges, what are we doing for our people? How do we want to impact and influence them? How do we want to ensure that their lives become better? What will they say? She mentioned when we exit, when we are no longer there, student leader, women's commissioner, SRC president, would they say that, hey, you chop money? Chop all the money. Want money? So think about how you're going to serve. Think of leadership as service. Some of you want to get into political leadership and student leadership because you think that that is where you wear your coats. Hey, you come, and I've seen pictures of student leaders who have bodyguards. Yes, in this our country, they're doing induction of student leaders. They have bodyguards. They come with a convoy of cars. Hey, So think about leadership as service. Think about leadership as self-discipline, drive, and determination. If you want to lead people, there has to be something about you that makes the people want to follow you. And it can't only be because you have the title. So you won an election. So you have to prove to these people that you're the right person for the job. And leadership is a journey. So I've heard so many times people asking questions like, and if we gave you the opportunity to ask about leadership, I'm sure someone will ask, are leaders born or made? You can be born into leadership because your father is a king or your mother is a chief. But leadership is a skill that we need to develop. It's an ability to move people in a particular direction. It's an ability to have clear, concise communication. It's an ability to influence people to behave in a particular way. It's an ability to solve problems. It's an ability to spot opportunities. All of that is leadership. And all the things we've talked about today are things that you need to do as leaders. Public speaking is a tool for leadership. Knowing how to work with other people is a tool for leadership. She gave the analogy of a chicken. That when there's corn, the chicken just scatters everything. That's true. Some leaders are like that, very divisive, and building cliques in the groups. So you have to come and be giving me information, or whatever they are saying about me, come and tell me. And that is how they build their support base. But leadership is a skill. So working together is a skill that you build or you develop as a leader. You have to have as a leader. And for me, I think that, I've said it before, my takeaway is show up. As a leader, you have to show up. I was totally clueless that the environment was different from my school environment. And in church, it's much, much, much more difficult to lead people. Can you sack somebody from your group in church? So knowing the group is also an important thing. But knowing how to work with people is key. Okay? And I'm going to end by saying something. is a quote from a gentleman called John Quincy Adams. He says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Very often we think about ourselves, what we want to do, how we want to improve, how we want to do better. It's very important to do that. But once you identify as a leader, or you want to be on a leadership journey, you have to think about your followers. You have to be able to spot somebody in your group and be able to say categorically that this person has become a better person because of my influence. When they joined my team, they used to wear their nightgown to work. They didn't know the difference between a nightgown and office wear. They didn't know the difference between blind copy and copy everybody. They didn't know how to send emails. They didn't know how to even write without writing shorthand. Some of you write everything in shorthand. How are you? HRU. Happy birthday. HBD. And you say, oh, it's shorthand. And maybe we, the older people, we are too old to understand. A leader, one of the things about a leader also is that you develop mastery. If you can't be a master of something, your followers will not trust in you. And an important thing that you should try to develop mastery in is language. So you will say, yes, English is not our language, oh. It's the language of the colonizer. Tree is my language. So if you want to speak to me in Tree, let's talk. Or if you want to speak to me in Ghana, let's talk. But as long as English is the official language of business in Ghana, please master English, master French. If you can, master Chinese, Spanish. For African languages, Swahili, Hausa. Even Ewe is spoken in more than one country in West Africa. Chi is only in Ghana. Can somebody tell me which other West African country they speak Chi? I'm not saying it's not an important language. My mother is an Akan. But I'm saying don't limit yourself with that type of mindset. Think global. Think that you can go beyond the borders of Ghana. You can get opportunities outside of Ghana. And not just outside of your region. You are the internet generation. You are the ones living, breathing, sleeping online. Yes, so take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Those opportunities are real. They're not phantom. You can sit in Ghana and do an interview for a job, a global job, get hired, and still be in Ghana, or they can take you wherever they want to take you. So open your mind to those opportunities. And if we're saying that the problems of Africa are leadership, then let's take responsibility as the youth of Africa. Africa is largely a young continent. So if the problems of Africa is leadership, how are we going to solve it? It's us. And if we don't imbibe the values of discipline, hard work, integrity, leadership, we will not solve our problems. And trust me, we can decide to travel abroad and go and live there. Africa will be waiting for us, so kulem. So I'm going to leave you with these thoughts. The change that we're looking for starts with you. In leadership, in everything that we're doing, or you want to do, or you want to change, you are the first person that needs to bring about that change. Thank you.
Indeed, leadership is more about influence than it is about title. And Petra Obaasima is the head of sales and marketing at Akosombo Textiles Limited, which is a leading Ghanaian textile company and proud supporting sponsors of the 2022 Guinness Ghana Obaasima Summit. And she's been speaking on networking. Please do take advantage of the fact that you're here, socialize as much as possible, and don't forget to network as well. At this juncture, I'd like to call on the sales manager at ATL, Judith Edubia Edumante, for a 5 minutes presentation. Please, Judith, join us on stage.